All right, the Detroit Lions just keep making moves again on the coaching staff. So we filled the defensive coordinator. Now looks very much like we filled the offensive coordinator. And it's really exciting the more that you break it down. It's a name we're not really familiar with. It's not like a hot shot young guy. It's just like, oh, this is good. So let me know in the comments, how long did it take you to get over the playoff loss to the Commanders? For me, it was probably 48 hours of just like, let me know in the comments, because I think we all were like, oh, I'm over it, man. It's over. It's like, nah, we weren't. It took a couple days. So let me know in the comments how long it took you to get over that. Okay, the guy is John Morton. Dan Campbell calls him Johnny Morton, not the Johnny Morton, not our former wide receiver. Let's break this guy down. It's really cool. So Dan Campbell said Johnny's a superstar now, and there's a number of things that he did for us last year, things that we've kept. So he was the passing game coordinator for the Lions. And this is what Craig really hammers home. He does a really nice job. If you've caught some of his previous videos, he makes the argument, and this bolsters his argument, that the offense, if anything, is more of a Sean Payton offense. Therefore, it's a Dan Campbell offense and not a Ben Johnson offense. So by Ben Johnson leaving, it's like, oh boy, there goes the offense. It's like, no, Dan Campbell was fully in charge of the offense. Now, was Ben Johnson cooking up plays and schemes and game plans? Of course, he's the offensive coordinator. But the core of the offense is a Sean Payton offense, and therefore a Dan Campbell offense. So that's what's really exciting. Oh, let me pull this back. Hold on. So a couple other things on this. For the past 2 years, Morton has been working for Dan Campbell's mentor, Sean Payton, as the pass game coordinator. This year's the Broncos rookie quarterback impressed under Morton, starting all 17 games, going to the playoffs, almost 4,000 yards, 29 pass TDs, 12 INTs. Really impressive stuff for a rookie. You know about the Denver Broncos situation. They have no cap space. They've got this rookie. They don't really have a ton of talent around him. Definitely some for sure, but for a rookie QB to do that, come in, play the way that Bo Nix played, especially when I was like, I don't know, does he have the tools, all this? That's huge. Morton was a huge part of that. And so then he knows Dan Campbell. He worked with him also for a year with the New Orleans Saints. In 2016, he served as the team's wide receivers coach while Campbell was in charge of the tight ends. Right? So you can see the tree coming together. And okay, I like this guy. I'm seeing what we're doing here. So again, his name's John Morton, and you're like, man, what the heck, right? I think a couple things, two things on this, and we're going to look at why this is so important when we start to look ahead at player acquisition coming up here in just a couple months. When you've got John Morton coming in, again, number one, it proves that this is not a Ben Johnson offense. You can see the core and the roots that were laid by Sean Payton, Dan Campbell, John Morton. Those guys really have this offense. And then, of course, Ben Johnson enhanced it. Can't deny that. But, by the way, I don't think he's going to make a very good head coach. And I'm so glad, and I hope he doesn't. I hate to say it because I'm like rooting for the guy. I've got nothing against him. But now you're with the Bears. See ya. Hope you never win a game. Okay. But that's number one. Number two, knows the system, knows the Lions, been there. And then number three, we hired Shepard as our defensive coordinator, promoted within. I think there's a lot of pros to that. There can be some cons if you're kind of always doing that. I think it's great to get somebody from outside and bring them in instead of kind of always maybe you could get into like a good old boy situation where you're always like bringing in your own guys and it's your buddies, and you kind of lose sight of what you're doing. It's like, no, this is a great thing to bring a guy from the outside of the organization. So he knows the Lions outside the organization. Been with Sean Payton, really has the results on the field with Bo Nix. I think that's all really good. Now here's where it gets interesting. And we already saw this, but Dave Burkett tweeted, what Johnny did for us this year was pivotal. It was behind the scenes, and I'm not sure everybody understands just how important he was for us. Again, this is what he had said. Just one season, I think this was in the 22 season before he took off and left. Let's go. Get this guy back, and let's make this happen. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Offensively, I think what's like, oh, Ben Johnson. I think just initially you've got these feelings of like, what's the offense going to do? Regress. Remember, offensive line is in great shape. I'll get to that in just a second. Let's talk about it. Offensive line, Taylor Decker continues to regress ever so slightly, but he's regressing. He's getting older. He's been in the league a long time. So that's a little bit of like, okay, kind of watching that. Graham Glasgow just struggled a little bit more than you'd hope for. We're aging on the offensive line. There's no question about that, but it's still like, if you talk about next year, I feel good. But I don't feel good about 2-3 years out, but next year I feel good. And then you've got Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams, a running back room that's just because of Jahmyr Gibbs. Can we just all, I think we all get it, but it's like Jahmyr Gibbs is the best. You could make the argument, not very hard, that he's the best running back in the National Football League. And if not, it's like, okay, fine. It's him, Saquon, and Derrick Henry. We have one of those guys on our team, engineered by Jared Goff. Everybody's dogging him. Let's see what this dude can do with him, right? Before we dog him. Jared Goff's fine. Totally fine. So you get guys back on the defensive side of the ball, and here's what it starts to look like. Some mock drafts are starting to come out. Here's one for you. Lions take Mikael Williams. Say, okay, Mikael Williams. This is the type of stuff that, man, if we get another long-term solution, just boom, SEC, high ceiling guy at the end of the first round that can do what he's doing, that gets me excited on the defensive side of the ball. The other one is, let's take a look at this one. Here, the Lions. This is their top three. Again, rough draft. LT Overton, Donovan Jackson at guard, and Billy Bowman Jr. at safety. Perfect. I love, and look at LT Overton, by the way. He almost looks like a D tackle out there just running around. Oh, my goodness. Number 22. I hate when D linemen have running back numbers or single digits. I don't know. It can't tell what they're supposed to look like. You know, when there's like a big dude and he wears number 2, and you're like, I don't know, you look big, but that's just the number throwing me off. 22 is a running back number, man. Okay. So why do I say this is because we've got the offense, boom, set. Offense is great, especially with offensive coordinators here. Now, and Craig makes this argument too that I love, Aaron Glenn, as much as I loved him, I really did. I thought he was innovative. I liked the way he tried stuff. But it's like, maybe that's just not what we're going to do. And you know what? Because we're so aggressive, it's just like, it felt like we're just like, this is who we are, that tough, rah-rah, this is who we are, is what we're going to do. We're going to play press man. That's a lot on the defense. And then all the injuries on the defense is like, was that a correlation? The way we were playing? I don't know. But it's like, let's have eyes on the ball. Let's play a little bit more just conservative. I would just like that rather than, and again, it's so hard because when you're stopping the run and you're doing well in the red zone and you're winning games, it's hard to be like, well, Aaron Glenn, what were you doing? It's not that. It's just like, whoa. I love the aggressiveness and love the in-your-face stuff, but the argument that Craig makes is that if you have a linebacker now, that's your defensive coordinator, a former linebacker, he's going to be like easier on the corners. Aaron Glenn asked so much of the corners in the secondary. It was like, dude, how are you expecting our guys to go one-on-one with Justin Jefferson all game? Hey, Amik Robertson did it, I guess. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, let's just cool it on the defense. And I feel like we're not going to have as many injuries. We're going to let Aiden Hutchinson, hopefully he can get back healthy 100%. That'll be really interesting to see how that all pans out. But then you draft a couple guys here. The defense is in pretty good shape, especially when you consider guys like Rodriguez coming back, Derek Barnes. I'm not too worried about the defense and excited now to see. offense and defense, and what's it going to look like, and really show that Dan Campbell is really smart with this stuff. Jared Goff's still good. We still have an unbelievable amount of talent on offense and defense that will be coming back. So let me know your thoughts in the comments, and we'll see all of you on the next one.